All right, everyone, welcome back to episode 10 of Jux, All Things Sports Podcast, presented by Always Bullin. Follow us on Twitter, like, subscribe on YouTube. Got some Week 9 football today. Going into that, jump into some NHL early, so we make sure not to miss that. College football rankings, playoff rankings, just now dropped as of 5 minutes ago. I was watching. And the bets were a little frustrating this week, but a couple hot streaks continue. We'll jump right into Thursday Night Football. Eagles pull out another win, remain undefeated. Nar, it's a team you haven't trusted from the beginning. Are you there yet? Did they prove anything to you yet? Are you in on the Eagles?
It's Houston. I'm in on them, but it's Houston. Do I think they're the best team in a weak-ass NFC? Probably. But I think the 2, 3 best teams are still in the other conference for them. So they got a lot to prove, but I think, they're good. I'll admit they're good at this point.
Train, same page. Were you ever out on the Eagles? Are you in now?
No, I'm pretty sure I had them winning the NFC Beast. We definitely took the Cowboys and the Eagles to finish 1 and 2, whichever way it goes. Now the Giants are the only thing standing in the way of that, and I think the Giants will come down to earth in the future. But as far as the Eagles, yeah, Nar said it. They just went against the Texans, 32nd ranked power rankings. And Dallas Goedert had a pretty good game for you, Bach, in fantasy. A good way to start off your week.
Great game. 24 points. Pulled out the win this week. It felt good. But yeah, on top of that, we had a great game from Goddard. Christian Kirk played well. Trevor Lawrence played good enough. Jags looked solid. Another case of it was still the Raiders, a team that's looked bad. A team that you and I both wanted to take in the teaser train, and we both turned away. My reason was Devontae Adams. They didn't stop him. They did in the second half a little bit, but he had himself a game. So I was right there, but I was wrong in doubting the Jags. Trevor Lawrence looked good. Travis Etienne looks incredible. The biggest question mark on this team is this is a Jaguars team that needs to figure out how to win games when Trevor Lawrence doesn't play good. Him being a generational talent, you expect him to always be good, but when bad games happen, it's got to be a team that picks him up, and then that just helps build confidence. Outside of that, what's wrong with the Raiders, Train?
It's a great question, Bart, because I don't really know. I don't typically have my eyes on a Raiders games. It could be Derek Carr, could also not be. Maybe it's the new coach. Maybe it's a slow start to a new coach, and maybe it's like a Hackett kind of situation where it's maybe a quarterback issue, but mainly just a change in the way they've been playing in recent years.
No, you go out and you trade for Devontae Adams, and that's supposed to be the difference maker. It's supposed to ignite the offense. And then today, you're cutting a former first-round draft pick. If you're a Raiders fan, where did it go wrong? How can you enter a rebuild when you just got Devontae too?
Well, the issue with the Raiders is I think they're incapable of going into a rebuild because their drafts are just always horrific. They're putrid. I don't know what the exact stat is, but I think like 4 out of their last 6 first-round picks have already been like just dropped, not traded.
Yep.
You know, they got zero value back. They just said, you're not good. You're going to go sit on your ass on the couch and watch football on Sundays instead of playing it. So maybe sell the team, Mark Davis, if you want the Raiders to actually be good. Raiders Nation's not in a good place mentally at all right now.
Yeah, I would agree. Even with the lack of draft history, you gave up picks for Devontae. You were supposed to be there. You got your quote-unquote quarterback. Tough spot to rebuild from if things don't turn around. Maybe it's just a coaching problem and it's that simple, but could be a long stretch here coming for the Raiders if they've got to deal with that pathway to a rebuild and then start the rebuild. But we'll see. Next game, I'll just set up for you guys and I'll let you run with it because you were there. You had a blast. Lions take down a big rival. We'll talk about the Packers later, but I'll just let you guys go into how you thought the game went and what went down at the game. We'll start off with Train, or whichever one of you remembers the most can take the lead.
Well, we got in, downtown, went to some bars, wanted to go early. Got to a bar maybe 10:30, and I don't know, we had like this bartender that just feeding us drinks. Like, she'd come to the table, you want another one? And I'd have like just a little bit left, so I'd have to chug it, give it to her, and she'd be right back with another one. So I was like consistently drinking.
That's good service. That's good service.
It was amazing service, actually.
She got tipped very well.
Yeah,
very well.
She did. We were drinking for maybe a couple hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. We were like, oh shit, we got to go to the game. Find a way, like the smallest line, somehow get into the game right away. And I've already got a beer in my hand in the first 5 minutes. And I had like 4 more, and it was just good vibes. There's Packers fans around us, but we were just screaming at them. They were screaming at us back, and there was really no holding back at all. But yeah, the game, boring, really. If I had to watch it on TV.
Yes.
It was electric in at Ford Field, though.
Nar, how close were issues to happening at the game with you and Ham?
Yeah. There's a couple. There's definitely a couple. I'd say the closest, there's a Packers fan in a Rodgers jersey about 5 to 10 rows in front of us. And every single time Rodgers made any form of bad throw, I would just scream at the top of my lungs, $50 million, because they're just paying him a stupid amount. Then it got to a point, maybe mid-second, mid-third quarter. I couldn't really tell you truthfully where it was in the game, but he finally started chirping us back. And then me and Ham, I don't know if we stood on our seats or if we just stood up, but we both got up, pointed our fingers at him. And I don't know what we said. It was probably very, very bad and not publicly correct. But then he got up, and then his mom, it looks like his mom at least, ended up like pulling him down by the ear and sat his ass back down.
How old was this? How old was this person?
I'd say 20s.
Oh, and his mom was with him?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And you would think as a normal human beings that would stop Zach and I, like, oh, like he's with his family. But no, we had every name in the book. We called him a bitch.
Yeah, likely made things worse, I would imagine.
Oh, yep. It made things a lot worse for him, a lot better for us. But yeah, Train said it perfectly. I think the bartender, whenever we got our drink below half full, she'd come to us, and then we'd all say yes, slam our drinks, and just give it to her. It was an incredible day. Nothing beats live sports. It doesn't matter how disgusting the game is. It's electric in the moment. Ford Field was rocking. But yeah, the corner we were nestled in for whatever reason, just all Packers fans. We had zero
Tragic.
help around us. Zero help.
I'm happy you guys had a great game. I'm happy the Lions got the win. My highlights personally was number 1, Al Kaline jersey. Loved it. Loved the move, Nar. Love Al Kaline. Love repping the Tigers. Number 2.
I bought that jersey for $150 the night before because I was in a concert.
It's worth every penny. Worth every penny. Number 2, I loved the Lion King attempt with you and Ham.
I forgot about that.
I don't know how. I didn't know how you didn't get on the camera with that, because if I'm working the camera, I'm definitely taking the 2 guys who are around the same age, and one of them's trying to hoist the other up in the air with a mom and her kid behind them, and they're blocking them out from the picture entirely. Those are my 2 highlights on the Snap stories and everything. Loved the jersey, loved the Lion King Simba attempt.
I think in that moment, there were about 4 or 5 times where I thought I was going over into the next row, and I kept yelling Ham to stop, but he just kept screaming, and hoisting me higher in the air for about half a second, and then you get tired, drop me back down. 3 seconds later, hoist and scream, half a second, back down.
Reen and I are locked in for 50-yard line, row 5 for Tigers Jags. Jags sideline.
Lions, Jags.
Yeah.
What did I say?
Tigers, Jags.
Oh, I'm on that LK line pack right now. Jaguars Lions. Reen and I are locked in row 5 at the 50, so that should be fun. Looking forward to it. Before we go into any other NFL games, we're on Detroit sports. The Red Wings are back, boys. The Red Wings are back. We're in the playoff picture right now. I said we'd be sniffing the playoffs earlier on, and we got injuries too, and we're playing through them. I think the worst things you can say. Ned's not the guy between the pipes, but Husso might be. Larkin's a great guy, great leader. We got the youth. The eyes are playing. Is all coming together. It's hockey season, boys. It's hockey town in Detroit again. We're back. The Wings are back. This funk of Detroit sports we've been going through, that has just been brutal. I mean, even the Red Wings, they tried to hold on to that playoff streak for so long. It was just such a long rebuild we had to do after. And same with the Tigers. We just tried to hold on to the playoffs for so long. Same with the Pistons. You fought to hold on to that 8th seed, and it screws up your rebuild. Outside the Lions, which is like throwing something at the wall and seeing if it'll stick. You don't know what's going to happen, no matter the outlook. But Red Wings are back. We're going to have Ham on the show soon to give us a little bit more in-depth analysis. But turn the alerts on, boys. Get those goal-scoring alerts. Focus on the Red Wings. We got a good sports team in Detroit. It's bound to get electric.
I know we've said it, but he's really going to come on. Bark's got it all set up now. We've got space for people to come on.
We're ready. We're ready. Guests are coming in the future. It's set up. We're ready to go. We'll jump back into football. Yeah, go ahead.
When are the boys going to a Wings game? When is Near and Trey and Bach going to be on the Jumbotron yugging beers again?
Oh, got to get to a Wings game.
Gotta happen soon.
What are you guys doing this weekend?
This weekend, I'm driving to the UP.
UFC 281.
What about next weekend? The following weekend?
That would be Thanksgiving weekend.
Damn, dude.
I'm going to.
Oh, wait, no, it's the weekend. I don't know when I'm coming back from deer camp.
Anyway, I got the Wings plus 7,500 to win the cup. Right now they're plus 5,500. So, that's all I'll say.
I love it.
You're basically up money.
I love it. We'll jump back into the NFL with a little combo pick here. They hit on the teaser, but they lost the money in the bank. Miami Dolphins lose a close one to the Bears. Train, what happened?
Oh, that's a great question. I didn't watch this game. I saw it on the big screen at Ford Field, and they were up, I believe, 35-25, at least late in this game. And I was like, "Nah, we got it. We got it." And I still needed Mike Evans, and that never scored. Well, that didn't start until later. And your guys' hit, and that hit, and I had the Chiefs yesterday night. And I was like, holy shit, we're going to do it. Like, I was so pumped. And then the Dolphins went down. I mean, we can talk slowly about how many losses I had yesterday.
Oh, yeah, we'll touch on each one individually and go over it in depth for sure.
But what happened really was Justin Fields.
Oh, yeah.
He set a record for the most rushing yards in a single game, regular season. And he was on my fantasy, he was on my bench in fantasy. I mean, you're not going to put him in yet, but he did score 50 points, and that would have been nice.
He's good. I think I said it 2 weeks ago when I first mentioned it. They're not using him the way they should. I trashed on him early in the year, said it was an Ohio State thing. But then, I told you, I listened to Fitzmagic talk about him on the show. When a guy like Fitzmagic is saying this guy's in the wrong system and can be great in a different one, I believe it. He had like 150 rushing yards. It was something ridiculous.
170.
178.
He's
new record.
He might be legit. I will see what Chase Claypool does with him next week, getting the playbook locked down a bit. But I've been increasingly hyping up Justin Fields these last couple of weeks. I think he's good. I think he's good for the long term now. I think this was his breakout. I don't think it's a fluke. Now, what are your Justin Fields thoughts? One-time wonder, or is this the Justin Fields of the future?
I mean, I don't think you break an NFL record that was recently held by Michael Vick, something Lamar's never touched, by being a fluke. I could be wrong. Like Train said, we had zero opportunity to watch this game. We were too locked in on Aaron Rodgers looking like a trash bag. But yeah, he's looked better every single game. And like I said last week, he looks a lot like Jalen Hurts last year, where he got off to a slow start. You're asking yourself, is this the guy? Is this a guy? But at the end of the day, that was us with Jalen Hurts last year, and
Yeah,
ended hot, and now he's undefeated. Not saying the Bears are doing that, but
for sure,
if I'm a Bears fan, I'm believing for sure.
Yeah, I think it's time to be excited about the future of Justin Fields. I'll be willing to throw that in. Tough that he came from Ohio State. Maybe if you're a Lions fan and you land on C.J. Stroud, it's a little bit of a ray of hope, but who knows? Still might be the system. Justin Fields is good, though. Bengals got a good game against the Panthers to recover. Injury to Jamar.
No, Joe Mixon did.
Yeah, but hear me out. And just Jamar Chase goes down. Bengals look lost. They get a game against a Panthers team. It shouldn't have even been 21 to 42. Some garbage time points for the Panthers, but Joe Mixon got his that game. 5 total touchdowns. Fuck Schlomp. I mean, of course, Schlomp gets 55 fantasy points from that. Receivers did their part, though, and I think it's just a good game for the Bengals to almost have like a light scrimmage. Try some things out with Jamar Chase. Hoping it'll be back for him. Are the Bengals still solid without Jamar Chase? Can they continue to keep moving?
Well, how do you think about your trade that you had earlier in this season, Nar?
Well, the second Javonte Williams tore his ACL about 18 hours after I accepted it. Not great. Joe Mixon still hasn't played up to his capabilities. Definitely not to the first round that he was drafted in. And this is a 1 week that he's been very fantasy relevant, maybe top 5 fantasy running back. And when you take him in the first round, very simply, you just expect more. Amon-Ra's just not getting the touches. Jared Goff I didn't even realize this till Monday morning. I looked at the box score, and I saw Jared Goff only had like 160 passing.
Yep.
137.
That's disgusting.
Yeah. He's not the guy.
Yeah, he's not.
He's not the
Would I
guy.
like to have Joe Mixon? Yes. Am I happy with my team? Yes.
Yeah, it's easy to want him right after he pops off,
Yeah.
The way they
And
use
the
him, it had to happen eventually.
The worst part about this is I played Schlomp this week, right?
Yep.
But the guy I played in my fantasy work league also had Joe Mixon.
Wow.
I was the second highest scorer in both leagues, and I lost both games.
Barely beat me out this week. I was close to you.
That is rough.
We got a good matchup coming up this week, Nar.
I had $140 and I lost.
Should be fun. Chargers win a close one against the Falcons. Falcons team I've continued to enjoy and be high on. However, it's almost the time of the day, the time of the year, to ask if, I don't know, are the Falcons good or are the Chargers just not that good? And it was a close game because it was 2 mediocre teams playing.
I think it's just a little bit of both. I think the Falcons are exceeding our expectations, and the Chargers are underperforming, which has to do with a few injuries. I heard a podcast say that they're going to take Austin Eckler midway through the season to have the most receptions this year, and I don't think it's an awful bet. They're especially if these 2 receivers stay unhealthy, injured for the rest of the year.
Tell me about it.
They're throwing to him a lot.
Patriots Colts. Patriots stomp a weak Colts team. Jonathan Taylor still just – did he even play this week?
No.
No? It's a rough follow-up year for Jonathan Taylor so far between injuries and underproduction, maybe due to injuries. I still don't think the Patriots are that good. So, I mean, is this just a gross game? Is there any takeaways from here?
I think it comes down to Belichick playing a rookie-ish quarterback. And the fact we missed this for a Money in the Bank play makes me want to puke. How do we miss Belichick against Sam Ellinger and not think Patriots are going to cover? How do we miss that?
Would have been
boys?
tough for me to do 2 Money in the Bank plays in a week.
No, it's on me. You're
I don't
right,
know if I
that's
should
on
touch
me.
it anymore, so I'll stick to the field goals.
Yeah, there you go.
Jets take a close one to the Bills.
1 second, Bart.
Yep.
We're gonna talk about Jeff Saturday being the coach for the Colts.
Do we have to?
A little bit. Just briefly, is Jim Irsay okay?
Go ahead, Nar. Go ahead.
I think at the end of the day, he's in one of the worst spots ever. You
Yeah.
bring a quarterback in when you're supposedly one quarterback away from being a true playoff contender. I wouldn't call him a Super Bowl contender when they got Matt Ryan, but I call him a playoff contender, especially in that division. And that didn't work out. And now you got to fire a coach. You fired your OC. So you think your interim offensive coach would have a decent offensive mind. But no, they got a lineman. So Jonathan Taylor is about to be a fantasy beast for the rest of the year. They're just going to give him the ball 40 times a game.
If he plays.
Yeah, I mean,
That's true.
even before the Saturday hire was going, I saw that Twitter clip pop up of Peyton Manning yelling at him on the bench that he doesn't call the plays. He's like, when I pass, you block. He goes, we'll run the ball.
Center.
We'll run the ball eventually. So you might be right, Nar. Maybe Jeff Saturday is just going to be sitting there like, fuck Peyton Manning. We're running the ball every play. But it feels like a handout. Most of the time when you see a midseason coaching fire, though, you see someone come from inside the organization. So the outcry of they should have, hired a free agent coach who's out there, you typically don't see it happen in the middle of the season because it's tough. Normally the interim is an OC or a DC or even an assistant quarterback coach, something like that. I don't know enough about Jeff Saturday in the past, but I don't even think he was on the sideline. Like, they just plucked him out of the general population, right?
I'm pretty sure he was in the media.
Okay, yeah. So
because he tweeted this Sunday when the Colts were playing. I don't know what he said exactly about the Raiders, but it was something along the lines of the Raiders are so trash.
Yeah.
Guess who the Colts play this week?
The Raiders.
The Raiders.
I think it's got to be something.
It's going to be incredible.
I think it's got to be something where you get someone who's at least been on the sidelines this season. You don't see outside coaches getting hired, so that's tough for me to fight for, but you got to pick someone from the sidelines. You got to pick someone from the sidelines, or if you're going to get an outside coach, it's just got to be pluck someone who just retired or just to come in and fill the gap for a season. You're not looking for your replacement right now. You look for your replacement right before the offseason so that they can make personnel moves to fit their schemes. And then you can practice with those schemes all over the summer. So I don't like the Saturday hire. I think they should have gotten someone from the sidelines. We'll see how it works out, though. I mean, the way the Colts have been playing, it can't be much, much worse. But I think you're right. I think he's getting set up for failure. Jets, Bills. Bills lose. Josh Allen has a mysterious injury. Are the Bills still the team to worry about in the AFC? And is Josh Allen's injury a large concern?
I think it's the biggest concern in the NFL. If he goes down, they're basically nothing.
Case Keenum did take a team to the AFC or the NFC Championship round once. I will say that.
With one of the luckiest catches and plays in the history of the league. in the Minneapolis Miracle.
Case Keenum didn't have the 2022 Bills offense and defense, though.
He still had Stephon.
He did oh shit.
There.
He did throw it to Stephon.
Wait a
didn't he?
second.
Are you less worried now then? Like what?
Yeah, they're back.
Best
They're
case,
so
Josh
back.
Allen's best case, Josh Allen comes back fully healthy. Worst case, you got Miracle Man Case Keenum taking a
And you're
Bills
going to the
team
AFC
that's pretty
Championship.
similar to the NFC Vikings team, and you got Stephon Diggs on the team still. I don't know. I think if you're listening right now and you're a Bills fan, I just think you're way more calm after hearing that. I didn't even connect the dots until now.
I honestly, it helped out a lot. I didn't even connect them until I said it.
Yeah. Case Keenum, Stephon Diggs, nothing to worry about. Guy knows what he's doing. He's just got to do it on the other side now. I don't know. We'll see. It was a tight game, tough game. I think the Jets are looking solid. We've talked about their draft. Sauce Gardner looks insane. Jermaine Johnson probably needs to see more snaps, but he's looked incredible when he's been out there. And I think solid was the hire. I think that was a good hire. I think it's a good team. It's a good win for the Jets. I think the Bills are still the number one team to beat, at least in the AFC. Besides maybe the Chiefs, who are just always kind of going to have that for a while with Patrick Mahomes, but it's going to at least be interesting. Vikings Commanders, my money in the bank, my teaser pick. Alternate spread was -2.5. I told you, they won by 3.
That was a great call.
It hurts you in the odds, but there's a reason. It's because you need it. You need it. I took them at 3 the day of, so I pushed on it, unfortunately. Because
I took him at 4.
I saw the -150 for the alternate spread 2.5, and I was like, I gotta give me that extra half point. They're gonna win by more than that. But they covered on the teaser easily. They hit the money in the bank at the alt spread 2.5. Great call. Jay Jett has got the touchdown after not doing it for forever. And like I said, if you go back, you watch that tape, I spit out Alvin Kamara, which I'm not sure he scored, but I spit out DK Metcalf. He scored right away. But it all came back to Jay Jettas. I knew it was happening. He had a great game. They hit in the teaser. They hit in the money in the bank. The touchdown score, Jay Jettas hit. I'm 8-0 on my teaser picks. I'm hot on the touchdown scores. And I'm 1-0 with my money in the banks for the season. I'm feeling good. Field goal frenzies at 2-0. We're waiting for that turn. But, boys, I'm not missing a teaser this year. I don't think it's going to happen.
Bart, how fast did Josh Allen and Jay Jettas hit the touchdown?
It was incredible. I was just like looking at my fantasy app right after I got out of my soccer game. And I look, and Josh Allen's got not 1, but 2 rushing touchdowns by the time I checked my phone. And I was like, oh, well, shit, we were right on that one. All of a sudden I look over, and Jettas had like 100 yards and a touchdown already. I'm like, oh, okay, so we're really fucking going crazy today.
I think it was midway through the first quarter. We all looked on the big screen at Ford Field, and it said, Justin Jefferson, 5 receptions, 83 yards, touchdown. Josh Allen, 4 rushes, 30 yards, 2 touchdowns.
He had like the most rushing yards.
Yeah, it was like, we just need fucking Mike Evans.
Yeah, it was actually a great start to the day. Lions
great
game,
start.
and then Train just had to kill it.
It was like right after Rodgers pick in the end zone, we were buzzing.
Yeah, for the first miss, I had to stay up and watch a very frustrating Rams. Or no, not stay up. It was a 4:30 game. I had to sit through the entirety. Red Zone had 2 games on because there was only 2 afternoon games. So I sat there and watched way too much Buccaneers-Rams football. Number 1, because I was playing against Cooper Kupp. And even when they're not scoring points or getting first downs or getting touchdowns, every single ball gets to that man's hands somehow. And I don't understand it. And then on the other side, I've got to watch old man Brady try and get a football to Mike Evans 500 times, and he hits maybe half of those, but not once for a touchdown. I mean, the targets were there. It was a frustrating game to watch. Tom Brady did pull it back in the end with some vintage Tom Brady moves. I don't know. Thoughts? Bucks, Rams?
The one thing I took away from this was watching Tom Brady go into that press conference and say, That was fucking awesome. For Tom Brady to say that, it has to be best team in the league versus second best team in the league. 35-30, minute and a half, you go score a touchdown. You're playing the Rams and they fucking suck. You fucking suck in your single. That
Yeah.
wasn't fucking awesome. Anybody that watched that game did not enjoy themselves one little bit. I bet half of them were scrolling through Instagram and Twitter looking for memes and shit. That game was disgusting. Tom Brady, that was not fucking awesome. You're wrong, sir.
It was gross. It was a gross game. Not so gross game. Seahawks still look dominant against the Cardinals. I don't know. Kyler Murray looks like he's trying out there and he's putting up good stats. We talked about it last week. But like you said, Train, he's not winning games. I think we've almost established that the Seahawks are good now. Geno Smith might be the Joe Flacco to that team that Joe Flacco was to that Ravens Super Bowl winning core. I'm sold on the Seahawks. I still hate Kyler Murray because I don't think he's good.
Right.
Because he can't win games. But I think it's a good win for the Seahawks. I think it's a bad loss for the Cardinals.
Yeah, I don't think anything's different from what I'm going to say from last week. So what I'll say is I think Pete Carroll is a good Coach of the Year play, especially right now. Turned what seemed to be a tanking team into they're not tanking anymore. They're 6-3.
6-3.
Yeah, they're 6-3, and they're in the lead in their division. Kenneth Walker, another good pick if you want to pick Rookie of the Year, offensive rookie. Right now, between him and Dameon Pierce, obviously, with the way Dameon Pierce played, it's going to be close between those two, I think. And then I think Kyler yelled at D-Hop or something.
He did, yep.
I don't know what was said. Me and Nar actually Nar was gambling. I was at the casino, just kind of bulling. But I didn't see a lot of either of these games. Not a lot at all.
I think it's bold for Kyler Murray to be yelling out of everyone, to be yelling at D-Hop.
For sure.
Because Kyler's looked bad all year until D-Hop came back. I don't think the conversation was football related. My guess would be either A, D-Hop played poorly in Call of Duty last night, or he wouldn't get on and join Kyler's party. Whatever one of those two factors set him off, I don't think you can be yelling at him about football because D-Hop's been saving Kyler since he came back. I mean, he looked bad. He looked bad earlier. D-Hop came back and he's making some throws. He's got that bailout option now, but watch out for the Seahawks. Nar, how legitimate are they? Can they make a deep playoff run, or do they lose in the first round against a quality team?
Well, I think that's the issue. I don't see a surplus of quality teams in the NFC. I think when you say quality, only one comes to mind, and that'd be the Eagles.
Vikings.
They see them the first round.
Wow. Okay. All right. No. I get it.
Definitely not at 8:20 on a Saturday night. That's all I'm saying. I think the Seahawks can win one or two games in the playoffs for sure. The NFC just isn't deep. They're not even top heavy. They're just Eagles and then everybody else.
Yeah. On to the teaser loser. Dropped us to 2-6 on the year.
God, we suck.
Chiefs got it done, but not by enough. Train
Train
sucks.
suck.
No, it was you and I. We did it all this week. You know, we had the money in the bank. Both our TD scores hit. Both our teasers hit. Train's been giving us the field goal frenzies normally, so I'll give him that. But he gave us Mike Evans, and he teased the Chiefs down to 6.5. Chiefs win a tight one against the Titans.
Look at Malik Willis' stats. How did this? He threw the ball, or Mahomes threw the ball 68 times, and Malik Willis had 5 completions, and the Chiefs won by 3. It was just.
You have to stop Derrick Henry to win a game against them.
Yeah.
I mean, he only had 115, which isn't like. I mean, it's good.
Or you got to do better on offense.
Not
20 points against the
crazy.
Titans D as the Chiefs. Come on.
446 pass yards from Mahomes, and it only led to 20 points.
That's what I'm saying. What happened? Like they were just.
Got no running back.
I watched it, but like, yeah, he also led the team in rushing yards again. I feel like every week we say that. Is it like kind of the same as the Bills?
I like the Bills running back room more than I like the Chiefs running back room.
I know, but that dynamic.
Yeah, I mean, James Cook is electric, I think. And I think Singletary is still solid. I don't really know what's going on with Clyde because I don't follow the Chiefs too closely, but like he's always good, and then all of a sudden he disappears. And Pacheco was supposed to be the next big thing, but I just feel like when people are talking next big thing for Chiefs running backs, they're just wondering who's going to get the touches. But like you said, 68 attempts. Chiefs don't want to run the football. They want the ball in Mahomes' hands and then him to throw it somewhere or run. I mean,
yeah, my bad on everything this week.
Everything.
I thought the Finns. They just choked it away.
they did.
Mike Evans
They were
had his
close.
targets, didn't score, and the Chiefs should have covered, but they didn't. So I'll try bouncing back.
We need it. We need a bounce back. I mean, like I said,
I know that's hard to come back from.
our teasers are at 2-6. We got to get hot.
The good
Well,
news
it's always
is you
one.
can't do worse.
It's
can't
always
do
one
worse.
from every week that we
Can't
lose.
do worse. Yeah, can't do worse. Field Goal Frenzy's 2-0. Keep giving us those, Train. We can find forgiveness in our hearts. Monday Night Football. Ravens take down the Saints. I watched a little bit of it. I was up by 7 points. I had Kamara. He had Tucker. I wasn't too worried. Then I was a little worried. Then I wasn't worried anymore. I mean, I think the Ravens look good. I think the Saints look mediocre. The one thing I have from this is I'm just waiting to see Jameis Winston again, and I'm wondering why we're not seeing him.
Pain.
What?
Pain everywhere.
Jameis has pain everywhere?
Yeah.
From what?
I think his back's still broken.
Spinal. Like the Mike Tyson. Hey.
I think Nar said it last week. I think the world needs him back, dude.
Yeah.
I think
No,
the world-
for sure.
The
Dalton sucks.
world's such a happier place when Jameis is slinging it on a Monday
that's what I'm
night.
saying. Like that's a guy he's just gonna close his eyes and throw the football and give us entertaining football, which is what we want to see. It's
No
not
matter what.
It's not
One way or the
precise
other,
and
it's
repetitive. It's big plays, bombs, jump balls, collisions. The world needs Jameis Winston back. We need him bad. That being said, good week in college football. Scary first half for Michigan. Halftime adjustments continue to be lethal for the Wolverines. They dominate Rutgers. Michigan State with a great win over Illinois. Congrats to
I have
them.
a question.
Yes,
I have
sir.
a question.
Yep.
If you had to pick one coach in the last, I think it's 2 or 3 years, to have the most road wins against top 25 FBS teams in the entire Division One, who do you take?
I don't know. I only know a handful, and I just feel like the answer's got to be Mel Tucker because you wouldn't be asking me otherwise.
That would be a correct statement.
All
Good
right.
job.
Well, they lost to Michigan last week. They've looked bad this season. It's good to get a win over a Illinois team who plays on a weak side of the conference and probably has a schedule that's propping them up. Hopefully they stay ranked until Michigan gets to play them so we can bolster the college football playoff resume. Speaking of college football playoff resumes, rankings dropped today. Number 1, Georgia, of course. They look incredible. The defense is ridiculous again. Stetson Bennett still probably isn't getting as much love as he should. Ohio State
He
number
sucks.
Ohio State number 2, Michigan at 3, and they put TCU at 4, Tennessee in the 5th spot. Love the Horned Frogs getting in. Love that they didn't pull some bullshit and leave the one-loss team in over the undefeated team. Let them have their chance and let them finish it out. Where I take issue is the 2 and 3 Ohio State Michigan. I get it, all right? I get the 44 miles per hour wind. You can't throw the ball. It's frustrating. This, that. But if you're a good football team, if you're the number 2 ranked team in the country, and it's 44 miles per hour of wind, you find a way to win games. I'll give you 21-7 over the Spartans. I'll give you 21-7 over Illinois. But you're playing 1-7 Northwestern, and you can't win by more than 2 touchdowns with the number 2 most talented team in the country because the wind is too strong. No rain, no snow, high winds.
There's a drizzle.
Michigan, however, comes out and dominates a Rutgers team in the second half. They've been dominating teams. They haven't just been winning games. They've been dominating them. The reason I'm so torn up with this is because it's harder if Michigan and Ohio State play and one of them loses. If Ohio State loses and they're at the 2 spot, it's easier for the committee to move a team from 3 to 5 than it is to move a team from 2 to 5. So it puts Ohio State in a spot where they can lose to Michigan and stay in the playoffs, which if that's the case, Michigan would obviously stay. But if Michigan loses, they could bump us for a Tennessee. And I don't think they bump Ohio State for Tennessee if they lose to us. So I think it's unfair, but we were anticipating that game deciding our hopes anyways. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Nar.
I get why you're mad, but at the end of the day, you can't be mad because Michigan controls their own destiny. That 2 versus 3 means nothing to you as long as you do your job and win.
For sure.
So you can't be that mad.
Yeah.
Like, the only reason you're mad is because you know that you might lose, and that might get you out. That's the only reason you can be mad.
Ohio State has the ability to lose and stay in because it's tough to drop from 2 to 5, but 3 to 5 is a little bit easier.
I don't think they'll ever put in 2 Big Ten teams when the SEC is as powerful as they are.
I know.
If Tennessee wins out, Tennessee's going over whoever.
And that's where I'm frustrated.
Game.
And then
I think win Michigan or Tennessee.
I don't know. I feel like I spent like all last year being like, oh, Michigan could play a good game against Georgia, and then we finally get to play them, and it was just brutal. The SEC might be on a different level. I don't think there's enough.
They dominated everyone. Every game was brutal.
I know.
Besides Mizzou.
But that's what it's like. I think it'd be close. I think we'd be shocked by their strength. I don't think the Big Ten gives the SEC enough credit. I don't think the SEC gives the Big Ten enough credit either. I think the SEC is the better conference, which is frustrating. But I think the environments in the Big Ten are tougher to play in. Team-wise, talent-wise, SEC wins. Environment-wise, Big Ten's a tough division to play in. Weather, crowds, stadiums. And 3 of the biggest football stadiums are in the Big Ten. So, I mean, I don't know. Michigan, Indiana.
Is that all you? No way.
Yeah, it's
Indiana?
huge. I'm pretty sure, dude. I don't know what the top is, but I'm pretty sure they got like 3 of the biggest ones.
We'll get actual stats on that next week.
They got big cornfields up here, you know. They're not building in the middle of these small states in the middle of the country.
Or in the swamps.
Just look up like top 10 biggest college football stadiums. I bet 3 of them are Big Ten teams.
Oh, Michigan, Penn State, Ohio State.
Oh, not Indiana though. All right.
The fact you said Indiana.
Hey, I said 3 teams and I said I didn't know first.
Let's see if they're in the top 25.
I don't think Indiana's got a big stadium. I think I just made that up.
No. There is 1, 2, 3.
Their basketball court might be bigger than their basketball or football stadium.
There's 7 Big Ten teams in the top 25.
That's tough. And you throw in that little weather factor where it could be 70 one week and 20 with snow the next. It's tough. It's frustrating. But we'll see how it shakes out. You're right. If Michigan can just win their football games, it doesn't matter. NBA's been rough. Pistons don't look great again. Maybe we just still have to wait and see, but I'm getting tired. Me, personally, I was high on the Nets when we talked NBA last. Wanted them to win the finals. Boy, does that look rough right now. I don't know what's going on with Kyrie because I don't really give a shit. Ben Simmons, I think there's a lot of people who might be able to shoot a basketball better than Ben Simmons, some of whom might not have even seen a basketball before, and you give it to them and like deductive reasoning, just they're like, oh yeah, I know how to shoot this. He can't score points. Odds books are moving his under on points so low, and it's just
They
it's
don't even
tough.
offer it.
Yeah, so they're not even offering it anymore. I just
No.
saw tweets that he always it was like under 9.5, and they moved it down to 7.5, and they're like, all right, that's too low. But a guy like Ben Simmons has got to be getting more than 10 points a game.
I think the craziest record that I saw today putting this together was the Jazz. Just knowing their
Right?
huge tank,
Yeah,
and now they're leading the West.
It's not
and
fair.
They're 9-3.
You
No,
get-
not fair at all.
you
Bob.
get rid of Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell, and you still lead the West. I don't know.
fair.
It's tough. It's tough. It's frustrating. I'm sure things will even out, but it's got to be fun to be a Jazz fan. But if you're in a rebuild, you're almost like, oh, we're quickly moving away from that lottery. But it's a
Yeah.
lottery. It's a lottery. Who knows? We'll jump on into betting. We touched on Shell early.
Oh, baseball.
Stroh's won the series, baby. Fuck Philly Zach. I won't say go Stros because I get it. I get why the world's sensitive. But as I've repeated on here multiple times, they paid their dues. You can't blame them for lack of punishment because that's on the commissioner, and he's an idiot. But they're not going to punish themselves. The Astros aren't just going to be like, all right, I'll tell you what. We'll drop our top 3 prospects. Like, no, you wouldn't either. So it's not their fault they didn't get punished by the MLB, and they kind of did, but they weren't heavy. I get it. Take away the trophy, I guess. I never really get what that accomplishes. Like, everyone knows they won it. It's in the record books. It happened. People cheat in baseball. They just did sign stealing better than other teams. They banned sticky stuff this year, and pitchers were using it for how long? And it was illegal, but no one gave a shit. So get over it. If you're upset the Astros won, you're either A, a Philly fan, B, a New Yorker, or C, you don't even follow baseball and you're just on Twitter a lot. They were a fun team to watch. They lost Carlos Correa, replaced him with Jeremy Pena. Trey Mancini, cancer survivor, traded there on the deadline. Got a World Series. Can only be happy for the guy. If you're a Tigers fan, the one worry is maybe JV goes into the Hall of Fame wearing an Astros hat now, which would be frustrating because they don't put 2 hats on him. So he's got to pick one or neither and just go with a blank hat. But outside of that, dude, I knew the Phillies were going to fail from day one. I didn't think they'd make the playoffs even. But I know my Phillies, and the Phillies are going to Philly. Always, forever. Fuck them. Get them out of the postseason. I never want to see them there again. Braves are coming back. 2023. It's a good season. It's a good season, boys. Off-season's off to a good start. Tigers are looking at catchers right now. Wilson Contreras has been mentioned. Trade talks for Danny Jansen from the Blue Jays. It's a good sign to see this stuff early. That means Scott Harris is looking to contend right now and not go into a new rebuild. So like I said earlier when we hired the guy, be ready for an exciting offseason. We'll jump into our bets. Wings are back. Wings are back, baby. And yes, I'm referencing the Wings. We were talking about the Tigers, but just this is normally the Chell segment, and I mentioned it earlier. So transition, Wings are back. Love them. The squad will get to a Wings game eventually. After a rough week on a couple close ones, losing the teaser by 1, touchdown score by 1. Thank you, Train. We come back with some more picks for you. Anybody got a teaser to start me off here while I look?
You can't stop. Got to keep going. Got to be persistent. I think I should be the last one to take it because I need the most time to think about it.
All right.
Actually,
Nar's normally the one who's just got one sitting there all juicy like.
well, the Steelers are playing this week, so he probably has been looking at them most of the time. And their dogs at home. So, yeah, I'm just going to leave that out there.
Is that a pick?
No, that's not a pick. I was just pointing it out.
Nar, you got anything?
I want to talk this one through.
All right.
Vikings are right now sitting at +6.
That was
That-
this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was this morning at some point. I can check live.
It's it's kind of intriguing me to take that, not knowing the status of Josh Allen.
They're also
And it's
7-1.
And it's also Kirk at 1:00.
These are facts, yes.
Give me the fucking
Ivan.
Lions, baby.
Whoa,
Yeah!
whoa, what's going on?
Wait, what just happened?
8.5. Lock it in.
We got the Lions. Oh, after what Justin
They're
Fields
hungry.
just did.
It's gonna be a shootout
All right.
in the Windy City.
All right. All right.
I love Detroit.
I've been looking over at this the whole time things have been going on, and it's just like that touchdown score last week. I'll tell you what, because my eyes are bouncing around this screen, and I'm like, ooh, bring the Titans to plus. Ooh, maybe take the Broncos. I don't know. No way the Jags get stomped. Hint, hint, they might. I also looked at the Vikings. I thought, wow, that's a lot of point to give Kirk Cousins. But no matter where I look, I keep bouncing back. I got to take the Giants. -6.5 against the Texans. Bring them down to -0.5. I love Danny Dimes. I love this Giants team. These guys are winners. Brian Dabble coaches good football games. The Texans are solid, and Dameon Pierce might have a good game. But there's no way the Giants lose this game. Not a chance. -0.5. Can't win a game by half a point. So that's a lock, baby. Give me the Giants.
It's also a great number. Perfect number.
Yep. Train.
I like that.
We got the Giants. We got the leans. Round it off for us, please, Train.
Gonna be gross.
No, I don't want it to be gross.
I think I know what it's gonna be.
There's no shot you know this, Nar. But they have hit a teaser for me before this year. They've been looking rough.
No, don't do it.
0-2 since CODs came out.
Oh, no.
Give me the Cardinals +9 against the Rams. If it's one thing,
All right,
Cliff
all right,
knows,
all right.
it's Sean McVay.
I don't hate that.
So that's not gross at all. It's not
Yeah, that's
I
not
thought you were gonna
gross.
I thought you were gonna say the Broncos or the Texans.
I thought you were taking the Packers.
I can't take the Texans if Box got the Giants.
Yeah, right in between.
Oh, yeah.
Choose between 1 and 12.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, if the
Yeah.
Giants win by a touchdown, you know?
Right.
I thought
Well,
for sure you were going Packers.
You
No.
also can't parlay that. So
All right. Well, we got our teaser.
We got the teaser.
I'm so scared, by the way.
You should be. You should be. We got the Giants. We got the Cardinals. We got the Lions. Lock it in. Bink. Week 11 teaser, right? Week 11? Week 9?
10?
10. Week 10. Week 10. Lock it in. Lions, Cardinals, Giants. It's a lock. Who's running that ball into the end zone this week, boys? Or catching it?
Lock City.
Yeah?
This is a guy that Bark's been very high on.
Ooh, I love it.
And I'm
Ooh.
starting to love him second by second.
Is it
He's
my
going
boy?
against a defense that doesn't like stopping the run.
No, he is. He's nice. It's a bad
Travis
run defense.
ETN,
Yo!
touchdown, score, and I love the over in that game. Love it.
Love it. Travis Etienne's a dog. I love it. I love it. He's quick. He's electric. He hits holes. He catches passes. He does it all. That's the guy. I love it, Nar.
Yes.
Me personally, I don't really have a clue yet, so I'm stalling a little bit. And I'm still looking at these games, and it normally just pops into my head, but I can't find it. But he's dancing around in there. I know it. I just got to find him. I got to grab him. I got to put him in my pocket, and I'll pull him out, show him to you guys later. I think it's got to be. There's no way it's not Justin Fields.
Boo.
Oh God.
Against the leans.
I don't know where I found that. I don't know where he was hiding. I don't know where that came from. I don't even think I meant to say Justin Fields, but it's just what I said. It's what came out of my mouth. I I looked through that whole slate, and if there's only one touchdown scored on Sunday, it's going to be Justin Fields running it in.
Wow.
Like I can't see anything else. I keep looking over at that slate, and it's Justin Fields. Look to my left, Justin Fields. That's all I see. That's what I got for you. Train.
Yeah, well, I was trying to. I was really thinking D-Hop was scoring a touchdown, and then I looked at who they were playing again. I was going to pair the T's with the TD, but I kind of bet against the Rams with Mike Evans last week, so I'm not going to let it happen twice. So I'm also going to stall a little bit here, and I'm glad I changed my. No way D-Hop scores a touchdown.
D-Hop,
Then I
no
went over that-
touchdown scored.
Then I went over to the Cowboys game against the Packers, and I was trying to think about the game that the Lions had. Also pretty rough against the Packers at Lambeau. So I've been dancing all around. I don't know who's going to score a touchdown this week, and I'm so scared to make a pick.
There's one out there. Just got to
There
find
has
him.
to be.
Justin Fields was buried in the crevasses of my brain. I don't even know where he came from. I don't even know where I pulled that out of. Just got to dig, Train. Dig in there. There's the winner's in there.
I got one.
Give me the name.
TJ Hawkinson is going to score his
Oh,
first
no.
touchdown as a Viking.
I like that. He had incredible usage.
He did.
Incredible
he did.
usage.
The usage was there.
That's 1 week. What was that? 4 days of learning the playbook. That boy's getting in the end zone soon. I love that pick, Train. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it.
All right. So we got.
Ah.
Oh no. Floor is yours, Nar.
We're 2-1.
Okay. I'm gonna do it. Okay.
Do it for the vine.
This is a Steelers team.
Oh no.
Very pissed off. Coming off the bye week against a Saints team that sucks ass. Andy Dalton's a shitbag, and he's coming back to Pittsburgh. We're going to shove that Red Rocket so far in the fucking dirt. Jameis is in the fourth quarter, and that's where we get scared. So, this is a Money in the Bank play on one condition. TJ Watt starts. If TJ Watt's not in, scratch it off the board. Save it for the next week. Plus 2.5. Sprinkle heavily money line.
Is TJ confirmed yet?
No, that's what I said. You gotta wait.
What happens to the money line and the money in the or the what happens to the spread if TJ Watt gets
Take
back?
everything out. Cash it out. Get
So
rid of it.
if TJ comes back and the spread stays plus 2.5, then it's money in the
money
bank.
in the yes.
'Cause what if
the line moves?
I'll probably move.
Yeah.
If he moves the line, take the money line.
Okay.
No way a defensive player shifts the line 3 points, right?
TJ Watt
huh.
might. The defensive
So
player
if-
of the year might.
So if TJ Watt
Plays
changes
money
this
in the bank.
plays, it's a money line. No
Yes.
spread, anything.
Correct.
Okay.
The city of Pittsburgh's gonna be fucking fired up, baby.
All right.
Fired up.
So for money in the bank, we got a conditional one this week, which I don't mind. It's money in the bank for a reason. And there's like no rules on it. It can happen whenever and it can be whatever. It's a lock. With this one, you're going to have to keep the eyes on Twitter. Turn on the noti bell. We place our bets ahead of time, but when we get TJ Watt news, it'll be tweeted. The money in the bank will be locked when it's tweeted. That's typically what we go by. When it hits Twitter, it's a lock. If TJ Watt shifts the one more time, verbally, if you remember, that's cool. If not, follow Noti Bell on Twitter. If TJ Watt plays and the spread stays at plus 2.5, the spread is money in the bank. If TJ Watt plays and the spread moves from 2.5, that's a money line money in the bank. If TJ Watt does not play this week, there is no money in the bank. And we might be moving it to next week, or is it a guaranteed move to next week, Nar?
Well, they play the Bengals, so I'll have to get back to you on that one.
All right. Fair enough. I can
Think
respect that. Keep your eyes on Twitter. If you're listening to us on YouTube, drop the subscribe, hit the like button, maybe tap the noti bell if you're feeling spontaneous. This was episode, I believe, 10 of Jux, presented by Always Bullin. Keep your eyes on the page. Next week is up in the air. I don't know if there'll be a show. I'm locked away from deer camp for a week. So,
And watch your boy at UFC 281. I will be in attendance. I'll be at the Mecca. I'll be shit can, and I'll be placing bets like crazy. So watch for those.
keep your eyes on 281. We might be skipping next week. Details to follow. But if we're not out on Tuesday next week, that's why. I've got no cell service, no electricity, nothing for a week. But we'll be back after that. Keep your eyes on the Twitter for the bets to get out there. Money in the Bank potential coming up this week. Episode 10 of Jux presented by Always Bullin. Like, subscribe, follow on Twitter. Until next week, boys. Maybe 2 weeks. As always, fist it.
Potato!